feel super chilled out right now. I don't even know why. Got the fireplace, virtual fireplace going on. One day I'd really love to have my own like fire pit in a garden or something. I'd be so sick. Anyway, I'm diverging from topic. I want to talk about Drive. Now you probably obviously see the title of the video, but I'm not someone that I would say has reached my maximum potential of drive, but what I've noticed is personally is a huge shift in my drive, but also I've seen the changes and I've seen how it's affected me as a person and the repercussions of having developed a good sense of drive. I wasn't a driven person before. I mean, like, I'd have kind of goals and stuff, but I think it's more about the action as well, rather than you can say you have specific goals, but if you don't act upon them, then you're not very driven. And I was back in the day, not even back in the day, not too long ago, but I was more so a sayer than a doer. And I realised, why was I a sayer? Because I was driven about the wrong things. I wasn't driven about things that I was properly passionate about. One of them, for example, was school. I was not really that into it, to be honest. So like I'd start the whole year with high level of like drive, but actually it's not drive, it's motivation. There's a difference between the two. Motivation is volatile, drive is not. Drive is something that comes from really, it's very deep rooted, and it's sustainable, and it very much carries you. So yeah, I was motivated than I was driven, and that was the problem. I needed a way to find drive, and to be honest, I only started developing drive this year, 2022. But I'll tell you how I did it. It's very simple, to be honest. So how I developed drive was, to put it very simply, it's overcoming mental pain and then overcoming physical pain. What I mean by that is, say you have a task to do and you just don't feel like doing that task, but you know deep down you have to do the task. Now, for example, if it's an essay that's due tomorrow, regardless of how you feel, you will do the essay, because if you don't, there is a repercussion to that. You're going to fail that exam or that essay, whatever. But drive is something that, say you had to write that essay, but you've got 100 days to write it, so you can be like, yeah, I'm fine, I can probably leave it to the next day. You keep saying that. A week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by. Now you've only got 10 days to do that essay, and now you're panicking. Well, that, my friends, is me. But that is the difference that's procrastination. And I was very much a procrastinator who wasn't driven but a motivator. But how I developed drive is to realize that there is an end goal, whether that would be 100 days from now. But regardless of where we are in the days, if it's day 1 versus day 99, I would still be driven to do that thing. So drive is the ability to basically get that essay, get that revision done on the first day, on the second day. Even though if it's not practical, it's to put the effort in. And similarly, right now, you probably saw my last video. I mean, you probably didn't, but like in my last video from this, I was basically just showing my morning routine where I go to the gym in the mornings. Typically that's around 6:30 a.m, 6:45 a.m, just because of work. But the first 20 to 30 minutes of that morning when I wake up from at 6, I really don't like it. Like, it's really like, oh no, I'm up, my alarm. But it's to break that pain threshold mentally and physically, to surpass that. And then it just becomes like, wow, you're in this state, you're just moving, you're going. And that's drive. I'm still developing it on certain things, because after work I'm meant to be editing, or I'm filming for this channel. So yeah, it drive is something that basically, whatever the circumstances, whatever the scenario is, you still get that thing done. And it is very much so when you, regardless of how you feel, you put that emotion aside and you do the task. It's that simple. Put the emotion aside and you do the task. And how that's affected me is because the first couple of weeks, maybe the first couple of months actually, it was difficult, because I'd be like, oh man, I don't really want to do this, I really want to do it. But once you build that habit, because previously you had the habit of developing, you're pushing it, procrastination. That's been a habit that's been built up over time for so many years, that like it's easy for me to just stop doing those tasks or push things aside. But once you start building that habit, you start prioritizing those tasks, those key, taking on that key responsibility, you then build drive. And drive isn't something that you just learn off the bat. I'm still going through, I'm still developing it and learning it. It's something that accumulates. It's like a snowball. You have a small like snowball and you roll it down a big hill. The first 10 meters, it might grow a little bit. It will grow, like it'll expand, but it's not going to be huge. But as soon as you go down meters and meters and meters, then you get a bigger snowball. That's exactly the same thing with drive. First couple of days, first month, first whatever, it's going to start off with a bit of a, there's a lot of things that you need to like remove from old habits wise. But once you really start developing drive, things become, you're in this sort of like mode. It's hard to explain, but like things just start clicking, and you're in like this state where it's like, I try not to use the word flow state because it's kind of overused, but you really are in some sort of like, you're in the zone basically. And simply all you have to do to develop drive is to, whenever a task appears that you know you have to do it, and your mind goes, let me put it aside, or I'm not really feeling it right now. No, it doesn't matter what you feel. Push it aside. You do the task. Simple. And then once you said no once to the other side of the brain, then you're like, okay, I think I know what I'm doing. You say no the second time, becomes slightly easier. Third time, fifth time, 60th time, easier. And soon you're just this machine that can just, you're going. That's how you develop drive.